Matt, it brings us to a segment called
Cinema War.
The War. It works like this. Me and Matt were fighting on a topic. Our guest, our jury this week, Elliot, gets to play the judge, the jury, and the executioner and tell the jawheads at home who he thinks won this Cinema War. And it's important because we're fighting for 20 seconds of jaw time to rant and rave on whatever the hell we want. Phil, tell the jawheads at home what today's Cinema War topic is.
Today's Cinema War topic: Steven Spielberg plans to ask the Academy to require a 4-week exclusive theatrical release before a film is eligible for an Academy Award. Is this a good fight to make? Or do you think platforms like Netflix and Hulu should not have to show their movies in theaters and still be eligible? Ryan, you're going to be with Steven's side, and you want them to have to play in theater. Matt, you're on Netflix's side. Their movies should be eligible no matter what the theatrical run. Let this stream of a Cinema War begin.
Amazon Prime Video is the same thing as Netflix, except for one area. They abide by the same rules as every other film studio. They release their movies in the theaters for a set amount of time before bringing it to the streaming service. This allows cinephiles, like myself, to see something on the big screen with a collective audience if I choose to. Netflix does not.
Right.
Not that hard, Matt.
In the spirit of good sportsmanship, I am actually going to concede one of my points to you. So I am bringing in a guest to actually argue for your side. We're super lucky to have him. He worked with Steven Spielberg as the star of Jurassic Park. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tyrannosaurus Rex to CinemaJaw. T-Rex, what have you got to tell us? Oh, that's right. Dinosaurs went extinct. Evolve, Ryan, or face the same fate.
Matt, HBO makes a lot of great movies. Behind the Candelabra, The Tale, Recount, to name a few. And if they were going to win a big award, it would not be an Oscar. It would be an Emmy. Why? Because it was made to watch at home. Essentially, that is what Netflix is trying to do. Make movies and not allow people to see them any other way than at home. Fine. Then compete for an Emmy, not an Oscar.
Movies are movies. Boy, is this a familiar song. TV news is bad. People need to read newspapers. YouTube is bad. People need to watch TV news. I love going to the theater, but not as much as I love seeing new movies. Does that make sense? You are a podcaster, Ryan, so thank you for killing the local radio experience. Wait, what? It's still alive and well? Change is both inevitable and healthy, Ryan. Let go of your silly hang-ups.
Matt, we the people love going to the movie theaters to see movies together. Want proof? Last year, 2018, the U.S. spent $11.8 billion at the box office. It is one of our great pastimes. Spielberg is looking at the big picture, and he wants to keep the theater experience alive. He's not against Netflix. He just wants them to showcase their work in theaters like everyone else.
Do you really think it's about the theater experience, or
Yes.
is it about that $1 billion you just mentioned, Ryan? Let's be real here.
Theater
Director
experience.
Ava DuVernay, have you heard of her?
Heard.
Whose film When They See Us premieres on Netflix later this year, posted on Twitter that she values Netflix because, and this is a quote, "It distributes black work far and wide. 190 countries will get to see When They See Us," she tweeted. "I have just one film distributed wide internationally. Not Selma, not Wrinkle. It was 13th by Netflix. That matters."
In the early days of this podcast, when Netflix, believe it or not, because we've been around this long, when Netflix was just starting to stream movies, you, Matt, foolishly predicted that in 10 years there would be no more movie theaters left. What made me upset was how excited you were about this. A world with no movie theaters, I thought. How terribly sad. That's a world I don't want to live in. This is a small way that Spielberg is trying to keep the movie theater idea and people going to them together. That's it. Netflix, get along for the ride.
Yeah, I'm sure it has nothing to do with money. I think Netflix actually said it best. So I'm going to quote them as my second quote. "We love cinema. Here are some things we also love. Access for people who can't always afford or live in towns without theaters, letting everyone everywhere enjoy releases at the same time, and giving filmmakers more ways to share art. These things are not mutually exclusive. And that's the end of the quote. Spielberg is holding the line of what cinema is, but no one person gets to decide that. The audience does.
I'll just say this. If Netflix loves cinema, let me watch my credits without your stupid ads popping up. Let me watch the whole movie.
You mean the ads for the next movie?
It's ridiculous. We're button heads as we do each and every week on CinemaWAR. We throw it to our guest, our jury. Elliot, what did you think of this CinemaWAR?
Gentlemen,
It's a tough one.
you both make compelling arguments. You've clearly done this a few hundred times before. I commend you on sticking up for both sides. I too am a cinephile. I love movie. I love Spielberg. Spielberg helped shape my youth and my appreciation for the craft. He made me cry. He made me laugh. He's made me pretty pissed in this instance because it sounds to me like the guy has got some sour grapes, that he's worried that Netflix are now going to take his mantle, that he's not going to be exclusive by siphoning off and funneling down the amount of movies that can be put into the Academy. And it does, in some respects, as Matt says, Honka's someone who's living in a different age and he needs to get with the times. Netflix, as far as I can see from the last 7-8 years, hasn't destroyed movie-going experience, and it won't do in the future either. There will always be cinema, just like vinyl. There will always be vinyl. There will always be people who want to buy vinyl, who want to listen to vinyl, who want to appreciate things in a certain format. Cinema will always be there. By opening up the avenues for people to get more art, to see more art, to be awarded more art, can only be a good thing for people like us, for your podcast. So in the best faith of your friendship, and in this podcast in general, the more movies are out there, the more people listen to CinemaJaw. Ergo, Matt is the winner.
Wow.
Thank you.
I mean, just that judgment that we had there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Elliot.
4 weeks of community service to both of you, though. Now get out.
Damn that Judge Elliot.